This is the parts that were damaged or essentially from the initial crate where they lost some components. So I've got this and that, so I'm going to go ahead and open it and kind of see what those parts are, and hopefully everything got shipped and made it okay. Okay, so the package arrived with the missing components. So this is the essentially the underside of the rear of the car. So I'm actually under the car right now. So this is essentially, so the front's back there. This is the rear. So the panel is just going to go from here all the way to the end of the car there. We'll of course put that on after we get the motor in. Other things that came, we got these are the carpets. I didn't get them out yet. I thought I'd probably want to keep them all packaged up, but they look nice. I'm assuming they fit. So other things I got, so you saw the steering wheel, got hardware, which is nice. These are all for the door locks. So I got the handles, the housings, the striker plates, and also got the locks. So that's what's in here. And so this stuff, because the donor car for a lot of this was European Ford, it's kind of hard to come by. So anyways, that's what we got in the package. Okay, the Tesla motor came. So this is how it came on a pallet. They also shipped me some other components, electrical components, and I just don't have any luck with shipping companies. This is the fragile box that came ripped in two. So we'll look through that and see if there's some problems there, but otherwise we'll start digging into this and let you guys all see what it is. Okay, so the contents of the box were, so this I believe is the DC to DC converter. I believe it's, I don't know if it says, but I think it's 125 watts. Anyway, I'll have to look. Can't remember quite what it is. But it got the cabling that goes with it as well. This is more cabling. This is the controller for the Tesla motor. And again, more connectors and such, more connectors. So these are kind of the high amp fuses, I believe, kind of big safety switch, contactors. So bag of goodies there. Also got the Hall Effects gas pedal, electrical enclosure, and this is the essentially the battery charger. So lots of goodies. Okay everyone, here it is. This is the Tesla Drivetrain. I actually got the whole subframe, drive shafts, one on the other side as well, and parts that are still coming. I got the essentially the suspension. So essentially the A-arms, also the rotors, spindles, brakes. So those are still on the way. But yeah, so one of the main things I'm kind of interested in now is finding out kind of mounting points, how it's going to fit, essentially fit on the frame of the car. So got it jacked up now, but essentially probably try and get it somewhat fit in there. I've got another jack that I can kind of lift it up in place and see where I need to mount it to, and build some frame, build onto the frame, weld some members to it. But anyways, this is what we got. So this is your main kind of power to it. So again, these will all be the suspension points. And then essentially the output shafts will go in there. So again, kind of do looks like this is another connector there. Kind of a bushing mount for the motor to the subframe. Well, there you have it. Other things I'm learning about the Tesla motor that I got, it's looking at the kind of the serial number and such. It looks like it's coming out of a P85D, manufacturing years 2014 through 2016. Other things, I'm gonna have to put 2 quarts of like transmission fluid in here. The drain for it's down there. So the cooling uses a 50-50 mixture of water and ethylene glycol, and essentially the inlet, let's see if I can see it. Yeah, so it's down, essentially right down there. Can you see it better on this? Right there. So that's the inlet for the coolant, and then the outflow is kind of right there. And I think we're supposed to get up to about 15 liters a minute of flow with the minimum inlet temperature around 55 C. So I'm planning on, kind of like radiator with fans, and the thought is, at least to begin with, I'm gonna try for kind of right there radiators on both sides. If that doesn't work, I'll do kind of radiator front. This motor with the control unit, this is a performance one. It's rated up to 475 kilowatts, which is about 610 horsepower. Okay, so I want to talk about cooling for our Tesla motor. So an electric motor does not need as much cooling as, say, a conventional automobile, internal combustion, just because it's a lot more efficient. So this car was based on an internal combustion engine and has kind of a opening size that big for kind of a radiator, or if you're going to do air conditioning. And so just kind of give you a rough idea, so I'm going to call it like 3 sheets of paper. That's kind of how big it is. So I'm thinking I don't necessarily need that much space, but I might just choose to use it. I'm also looking at kind of these openings back there. Again, you can get kind of a sheet of paper on either side. So I'm thinking about doing smaller when I say radiators, they'll probably be more like oil cooler size, but maybe one on each side in the back for cooling. So I think that's going to be my plan. But yeah, we'll we'll get some things ordered and look and see how it goes. Okay, so I think I've had a change of mind. So just looking at kind of a conventional radiator. So this is a minivan, 230 horsepower, and its radiator measures about 20 inches by 30 inches, and this guy is going to have about 600 or 610 horsepower. So 2.5 or so times essentially the engine if it was an internal combustion engine, which means that you'd want a great big radiator. But with it being about 3 or 4 times as efficient, I think you could get away with a radiator that's even smaller. But I don't think it's small enough. I think just having 2 on the other side, I think you could make it work, but I think you might always be worried about overheating. So I'm thinking I'll just put one kind of normal size one up front and call it good. Okay, here we are at the front of the car. This is the opening for the radiator. And here what I've done is I've cut out a piece of cardboard. Been doing a lot of research trying to find a radiator that's about this size. So it turns out that Jeep Cherokee has kind of a lower, anyways, not so tall radiator, and it's wide. So I will use 2 hands now and get this in there. Alright, so this goes, again, this is the front of the car, goes in like so. And let's go up. So that's about what it'll look like. So it should be pretty good left to right. I'll get some fans to pull the air through as well, and this will cool the motor. I knew this would be an eventuality, but essentially I'm going to have to remove probably all the panels again in order to mount this guy. So I need to remove panels, I need to get this guy in place roughly so I can figure out how best to mount it. The other aspect is the electrical. So essentially, I know it felt like we just left electrical, but in order to get this Tesla motor going, we need to jump back into electrical, get everything wired for the motor. I had another thought or concern. So the company I bought this from, they told me that it would be a complete subframe, so with the suspension components and spindle, rotors, brakes. So they sent this. My concern is that then they're going to send me a pile of parts with no hardware, and then I have to scour to find what hardware goes with the Tesla parts. And so I really hope they give me everything that was requested, but I guess we'll see. Okay, so we got the motor closer to in place. So we got it here in the back, and so it's kind of about where it sits with the frame and everything. I'll give you a couple other views just so you can see. So here it is from the back. I'll try and get all the way underneath here. But you can see there's just so much room. So obviously it needs to go up a good, I'll say like, I don't know, 4 inches, 6 inches, something like that. it'll be just shy of that guy there. So that guy should come pretty close here, just on the back side. But that's where that one is. I'll give you a couple other views. So from in top, sorry, this is the whole engine bay. So again, it's about in its placement kind of in this direction. So this is about where the axle should be. And you can see we just got hordes of room. So might just put batteries there just because that's a huge room. I had talked about maybe putting some on either side. There's some pretty large cavities here to the side. But that's kind of where it sits. So the next thing is, you see we've got the mounting points. There's 4, so 2 on the front, and then can you see them? Yeah. So right there on both sides and there. So 4 mounting points. We'll have to decide and figure out how best to mount it. So we got to essentially bring something from here up to, you know, say here, or triangulate it somewhere else. But this has got to carry all the load of the motor, essentially all the acceleration, all the lateral movement, and so on. Okay, that does it for this episode. This time we got the motor. That's the most exciting part. Got it kind of put in its general location. Worked on a few other things, but there's kind of 4 main things still left to do to get it to kind of a roller or a go-kart stage. One is to mount the motor. The other is the electrical, get all the components and wires and everything ready to make the motor run. We also have to do the brakes. So we'll be working on those things. We will kind of splice in a few things like panel fitting, updating some panels when we're waiting for parts or trying to just figure things out. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please share and subscribe. Thanks.